Today on Happy Hallmarkies, we talk about Christmas movies, and lots of them. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Martina.
Martina, sing to me. Let's just play this out.
Let's just let this take up 3 minutes of the show.
Let Martina do her thing.
From now on, our troubles will be out of sight.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to AfterBuzz TV. Happy Hallmarkies. Thank you, Martina McBride, my favorite singer of all freaking time. I love her.
Not
I
just
love her
Christmas,
so
just in
much.
general.
I have seen her 4 times in
Oh,
my
wow.
life. I've gone all the way to Chicago by myself just to see her.
Just for Martina.
She's amazing. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Happy Hallmarkies. I'm your host, Marisa Serafini. You can follow me everywhere on Twitter, all those fun social media platforms, at Serafini TV. Joining me once again.
Yes, I'm back for Countdown to Christmas. It's Stefan Lovegrove. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dr. Lovegrove. And we're so cozy today.
We
With the
are.
Martina, I'm in a sweater. We have Santa hats. So cozy for this Christmas before
Yes.
Thanksgiving episode.
If you guys haven't listened, I highly suggest Martina McBride White Christmas album. It is by far one of the best Christmas albums you'll ever listen to, not because I'm biased, but because it's true.
It's just true.
It's the first Christmas Christmas music album that I pull out every year and listen to, and it gets me into the Christmas spirit.
I assume, obviously we're watching these movies, I assume you're listening to Christmas music already.
Of course.
Of course. It's that time.
It's been a lot of pentatonics last week, but yeah, Christmas music
and they
all
give
around.
us something new every year. Whether it's a
Yes.
full new album or like a deluxe version, they give us something new to bring them back every year.
Yep.
So does
Every
Hallmark.
year. So does Hallmark Mystery Movies channels, and just Hallmark in general. We have a lot of movies to cover because we had a special guest last week, Jordan Blackstone. Thank you, Jordan, for joining us. Amazing insight and her wonderful photography and art and everything that she brings to the Hallmark community. So we're going to talk
And she's
about...
in the chat.
Yes,
Those
hi,
of you
Jordan.
watching live. Hello, Jordan.
So we're going to retroactively talk about 3 movies from last week, because last week we also covered Engaging Father Christmas. So we're going to not talk about that one because we already covered it. But we're going to talk about The Sweetest Christmas, Enchanted Christmas, and A Song for Christmas. And because we have a lot of movies to cover,
We just gotta
this
dive
week,
into the snow here.
We're gonna not traditionally go like really in depth, but let's talk about our favorite moments for these 3 films.
Well, and since I wasn't
Starting
here
with
last
Sweetest
week,
Christmas.
I do want to say Engaging Father Christmas was great.
Yes.
So I know that we've already discussed it on Happy Hallmarkies, but I just wanted to throw that in. What was your favorite of the 4?
Out of the 4, I love Sweetest Christmas and of course, Engaging Father Christmas.
I will tell you, those are the 2 that I kept on my DVR.
DVR.
Because I knew I would want to watch The Sweetest Christmas again.
Let's start with Sweetest Christmas. What was your favorite moments, favorite lines of this particular one?
Well,
Lacey Chabert.
ironically, I love Lacey. Ironically, I loved the moment that we, not really spoiled, but like that we had the Hallmark exclusive of last week. It ended up being a really sweet conversation. And given the whole setting of the movie, I ended up really liking that moment. I also thought it was one of my favorite bonding with the child, like relationships and scenes in any of the Christmas movies so far. I loved the shopping. It was just so cute.
It was cute.
I also like food, and it centered around food in many ways.
gingerbread,
And gingerbread.
gingerbread houses. It was really gorgeous. The things that Lacey, her character, was creating. They looked delicious. I loved a few favorite moments of mine, wherein the son messed up the cupcakes, and he put the frosting on too soon, and it all melted all over the place. But they salvaged it and made them into snowmen. I thought that was cute.
You know what's funny is I was watching that one with a friend, and my friend was like, how did they not stop after the first cupcake when the icing started melting? They were like, how did they not stop at that point? How did it get so out of control? And I was like, it all worked out. It all worked out in the end.
Did it. I think one of the best lines in my mind, I'm not going to completely say it word for word, but something with like a lot of marzipan and that they could save it. I thought it just it's like what you think is a mess, you can like create something out of it, and that's what allows you to be creative and turn something.
Now,
into
in
something
general,
creative.
because this is relevant to so many of these movies, are you more of a fan of strangers meeting for the first time movies? And I want to know this from you, but also in the chat. Are you more of a fan of that, or like the ex of the past, high school sweetheart, flame kind of movies?
Ooh, I like both. I generally lean more towards the old past relationships because something happened at one point in their lives, and it's like that old spark, that old flame that can be reignited. And you're like, oh yeah, there was already something there, so you can believe that there's already a relationship, a chemistry, something happened that maybe caused the conflict that they had to get over. But knowing that they were together at one point, and
makes it more believable to you.
There's a potential that they can get back together.
See, we are the perfect balance for this panel because I lean towards the strangers meeting, which will very much be reflected in my thoughts on this weekend's movies. I very much lean towards the strangers meeting because let me tell you, there's no exes I'm trying to have come back into the picture. But I'm open to sitting next to someone on a plane. I'm open to any of these. I don't want a car accident or a bike accident, but I am open to some of the strangers storylines.
Or a bus, like one of your favorites, Starry.
One Starry Christmas. And I love when you guys on Facebook say that you love One Starry Christmas. It's truly my favorite. Also, I forgot about this one. Best Christmas Party Ever just aired last night, and I saw Lori posting about it on Facebook. That is also one of my all-time favorites that I forgot about.
Yes,
but it's a great
actually
one.
texted me this weekend about that film.
Did
that
you watch
movie,
it?
And I recorded it last night because I saw I was recording.
Please let me know as you refresh yourself what you think of it. That was when Hallmark did 12 movies. When it was the 12 movies of Christmas. How long we have come from that point.
Oh, we have so many more than 12 this year, which is great. We love it. All right. Any other favorite moments of the Sweetest Christmas? Of course, she won the...
Other than the reveal of the famous gingerbread woman, and then I love that tense moment where she was like, you think that you're going to beat me, essentially? That was hilarious to me.
Cockiness.
Can we talk about all these problematic proposals of the last 2 weeks?
Sure.
We'll come back to that, actually, because I have thoughts on that in other movies, but the proposal theme was in a lot of these.
Yeah.
More than usual.
Botched proposals.
Botched proposals and bad idea proposals.
Yes, or like fake proposals, and when I say fake, more like you think there's going to be a proposal, but then it ended up not being a proposal, especially this one.
More like a lot of proposals the last 2 weeks of movies.
Yeah.
So we'll talk more. So what was the next one? A song or Enchanted?
Let's talk about Enchanted Christmas.
Okay. What did you
Alexa
think of
Penn
it?
and Vega and Carlos Penn and Vega. I like this one. It was cute. Again, another old relationship that once was. Loved the dancing. But what I really liked about this film was that there was a lot of good messages in it. It was different, but it was very inspiring. Yeah.
I really liked it. So I was not prepared. I thought it would be cute. I didn't expect to really like it as much as I did. I don't know. I just thought it was different. I thought it was the dancing was different than most movies. The dynamic of the couple I thought was different than normal because they actually are a couple in real life. I just thought it was really refreshing and different.
I thought I didn't really want, I don't think different, but I really liked the dancing. I love the moments where he was teaching, the kids, and he was just being like that sweet instructor and like teaching them the peppermint stripes and stealing cookies from and bringing them to the kid. Like how he was teaching the routine. I thought the the adult to children dynamic was really sweet and believable, and I liked the message from the father who was passing on wisdom. Like, when you're younger, you tend to make rash decisions, not like those impromptu decisions, the impulsive decisions, and it's good for your life at that point, but like in the long run, it might not be good for your life. And but there's at one point you tend to grow up and stop making those impulse decisions. And I thought that was a good message to spread, because people like us in our 20s and stuff, I mean, it's just a good message and things to live by.
It was a very thoughtful movie.
Yes.
And I loved two things that I remember loving. I loved the fountain. I thought that he brought, and then the wishes, and I thought that was super cute. And I loved the reveal when she thinks that he had gone to the airport and he had taken this gig and all this stuff, and then gets asked, can we do this? And she's like, well, I don't think, and then he's revealed. I thought that was just so wonderful.
Yeah, he was just a great overall guy. You're like, yeah, how did this not work out in the first place? But I'm glad that...
Actually, you're right. This movie, sometimes you can tell how it didn't work out in the first place because they're fighting and bickering left and right. This one, it was more like, oh, we definitely see how this worked out.
Yeah.
In the first place.
I liked it, and obviously the natural chemistry is already there because they're married in real life. It was very believable. It was very cute. I really enjoyed Enchanted Christmas. Let's talk about A Song for Christmas. Becca
Which
Tobin.
I texted you during.
Yes,
all
you
throughout. I
did.
texted her in the first 5 minutes, and I was like, I'm into A Song for Christmas because it reminds me of Catch a Christmas Star.
Yes, which we both
we love. Do you guys like Catch a Christmas Star? Because it's everything.
I mean, it's so
One
good.
of the best.
So good. I've literally seen that movie probably more than 20 times.
She texted me back, I heard the bells. And I was like, I can hear that cover of I Hear the Bells
yes, so
from
good.
that movie. So A Song for Christmas, I actually did really like it though. Overall, it's not going to be right up there with Catch a Christmas Star for me. But I really liked their dynamic. I liked that he was not antagonistic towards her being a celebrity, or he wasn't, like, I liked that he kept her secret and was super respectful about it.
Yeah.
I liked that she at no point in the movie was above anyone. I just really liked the way it all played out.
Yeah, I mean, I told you this when I was watching it. It took me a couple minutes to kind of believe their dynamic. For some reason, I was having a hard time believing them together. I think because she was so likable and so outgoing, and she obviously has that personality that makes her a star in a country music singer, that you can believe that this person is like really successful. And then he was more quiet and more timid. I don't want to say standoffish, but he took a little bit of time to warm up to, for me, just watching him as a character. And I felt like there was an age difference that was bothering me.
See, you said this to me and you blamed it on the gray hair. Or the graying. But I know people who are in their 20s. No, and I was going to say, I know friends who are very attractive and in their 20s and just prematurely graying.
Yeah. For some reason, they just, and like I haven't actually looked up the actor's age or whatnot. I felt like there was a distinct age difference that made it hard for me to believe that they would be together at that point in their lives.
I'm going to disagree with you on this one because I really thought their chemistry was very believable. Age difference or not. Okay. I thought Stacy says she didn't notice it. By the way, I just want to address comments. Jordan said she's watching Catch a Christmas Star tonight. I'm jealous.
So good.
Because it's endlessly, that is a high school sweetheart one I love.
Yes.
Also, Jordan says for those of you in Canada, and I know many of you are in Canada, they are getting Best Christmas Party Ever for the very first time, and Jordan has never seen it. So Jordan, here's my teaser to you. Listen for a line about dreams and a moment involving clock radios, both of which make me cry, and let me know what you think of Best Christmas Party Ever.
And enjoy Catch a Christmas Star.
Enjoy both.
Shannon Elizabeth is fantastic in that.
And I liked, as we discussed the new ones, I liked throwing these out because there's so many on, and it's good to have a recommendation of like, hey, if you didn't see this one from 2013, definitely make sure to watch it when it comes on.
Yes.
So I'm glad we can
I
throw
also
them
did
out for
like
people.
a song for Christmas too because of the song that they ultimately wrote at the end.
Was very nice.
Yes,
Was
it
preferable
great.
to I Hear the Bells.
Yes.
I would much rather, if we could substitute that song into Catch a Christmas Star, it would be perfection.
Yes, but Catch a Christmas Star also had another great song at the end of that one too.
Beyond, yes.
Yes.
Agreed.
But this movie made me. It reminded me of another great movie, A Country Wedding. Jesse Metcalfe, also country music, and there's singing, there's guitar, there's cowboys, there's romance. Love it. Done. I enjoyed it overall. I enjoyed
Such
it.
a solid weekend. Can we
was.
talk about from
It
the
was.
first weekend to this one? I felt like a huge improvement. I felt like
Yes.
we got more emotional. I felt like the chemistry got better across the board. The movies got more fun. This was such a solid weekend of movies.
I agree because I did not delete any of them from my DVR. They're still there.
Right.
All right, let's get to this past weekend's movies then. Coming Home for Christmas, that aired on the Hallmark Channel, starring Dana McKellar and Neil Bledsoe. Andrew Francis also from Chesapeake Shores.
Yes,
This was
love
his film.
Chessies.
So, what did you think about? All right, let's getting into this. One of the main topics was okay. So, Dana McKellar, she plays Lizzie. She becomes a house manager. What did you believe the storyline that she now takes over this estate and like the events and helps manage this whole gorgeous mansion?
Well, okay, I did think they would never give her this job without numerous background checks and whatever. Just because you got a referral, let me assure you, there would still be protocols and procedures. But what I did appreciate about this setup, and I wrote this down as I was watching it, is so many millennials really are in this position where they went to school for one thing, and then they end up getting something
else.
different and are still trying to figure it out. And I feel like that's a theme we had in multiple movies this weekend that I really liked, of people trying to figure out in a much... And I know you liked Christmas Festival of Ice, and I will every time it comes on again.
Right.
I did not think Christmas Festival of Ice was a realistic portrayal of a millennial trying to figure out their career in the same level that this one was. This one, and then a couple more this weekend, I just thought it was really believable. I'm like, so many of us went to school for one thing, have ended up doing something else, took people a little while to figure it out. I loved that situation.
Right, and also in fairness, her situation was kind of different because Lizzie, in literally the first 2 minutes of this film, she explains her whole life, that she got fired,
Right.
we
get the whole
everyone got laid
backstory.
off, and then she didn't have her boyfriend and ended up a relationship with her. Like literally, this was another movie I had to rewind in the first 2 minutes, which is never good for me.
But also, can I say, in the first 2 minutes, we had Balsam Hill being opened.
I know.
Almost more prominently
Hello,
than I've ever
product
seen
placement.
right away in a Hallmark movie. And we had Folgers. We had
Yes.
Balsam Hill and Folgers before the first commercial break.
I know
That's
there's
not a record, but that's pretty fast.
Right. I know that there's a Hallmark drinking game out there. I saw it, and I thought of one weeks ago too, and I think I'll create our own Hallmark drinking game.
I love that. You know, I was
And
going
it'll
to
be
tell
pretty,
people if
yes.
anyone, I'm going to Savannah and Hilton Head for Thanksgiving, and I was thinking if any Hallmarkies are
Georgia?
there, let me know so that we can get a candy cane martini. Lou
Yes.
to the Marry Me for Christmas candy cane martinis.
Take a picture of it,
remember.
put it on Instagram.
I will.
Tag me.
I will.
How about that? All right. I mean, eventually, I kind of believed that she would be put in a house manager position because she was asking all these questions like straight up. Like, one of the questions was, "Oh, there's a business that helped replace stained glass windows." I was like, "Girl, you don't know that?"
Well, and also, don't you think
Like-
if she worked for insurance, don't you think because I will say this, I like when Hallmark movies portray women as capable, because the women in my life are like Marisa Serafini. They are capable. They're not ditzy,
Aw,
like,
thank you.
oh God, I fell. So I appreciate when they show that. And I was like, if she has had a career in insurance, she's not just like, hey, I'm Lizzie. Like, she knows how to, I think that she would know how to be professional in
Right.
that sense.
I think there were just a lot of early moments when she first got that position that it made her look naive, that it made me have a hard time believing that she could ever be put into this position.
And that first list of stuff he read her, I was like, she's not qualified.
Yeah, I was like, she can't.
I'm
handle this.
overwhelmed listening to this. I don't have faith in her. I'm sorry.
It's like asking about stained glass windows. Like, girl, I even know that. All right. What did you think about this potential relationship with the younger brother, Kip?
You know, I wrote down, I like having, not that I was unclear about which way it was supposed to go, because typically the first man on screen that there's any sort of sparks with is the right one. You know what I mean? And, okay, can I just say, one of my favorite games is spot the signs of a bad boyfriend in a Hallmark movie. And the signs include they buy a white Christmas tree, they don't have a Christmas tree. You can always tell the, like, bad boyfriend they need to leave by the certain signs.
Starry Christmas had a white Christmas tree.
One Starry Christmas has all the bad signs. Very Merry Mix-Up, spot the bad boyfriend family. Anyway, so the point is, I like this story of the rivalry. Even though we knew who she was going to end up with, I thought it was so fun, this competition thing. I was like, oh, this is an interesting dynamic for a Hallmark movie. What did you think of it?
I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting the younger brother to like try to start this quote unquote relationship with her when the older brother was, because the brothers are obviously kind of polar opposites.
Right.
The older brother's more shy, more together, more introverted compared to the extroverted Kip. And Kip is one of those 20-something-year-olds just like living life and spending his trust fund and not being responsible. He's just having fun. You can tell, but he was a nice guy.
But I will say, I did feel for him. Nobody wants to, if it hasn't been the setup from the beginning, nobody wants to work for their older brother.
Yeah,
I felt for him.
True.
I was like, nobody wants that.
Yeah, I felt for the whole family, and I felt for the grandmother.
Well,
in the position that she was in.
And I felt for Robert because when he explained why they were selling the house and why she needed to move, I actually had a moment of doubt where I was like, maybe the ending won't be the predictable they keep the house, because it sounds like she really might need to move. You know what I mean?
Right.
I felt like they introduced enough variables that it kept us on our toes. Joyce, I believe it was, is saying in the comments, all the movies this weekend were typical Hallmark, but they all had unique twists that made them fun, and I could not agree more.
Yeah. I agree with that. There was a lot of the beats that you're kind of expecting in a Hallmark movie, but nothing. There was no big twist reveal that you didn't see coming.
But that is the genius of can you stay true to a legacy for decades that people like while still keeping it fresh? And the fact that Hallmark pulls that off is like so many props to them because it's hard to do.
Yeah, and I mean, it's obvious that Hallmark has a formula, but it works.
But
every
it works.
time.
Yeah,
it works every time. It gets us. All right. I really enjoyed the family dynamic when they were finally like actually bonding. Once the sister came in, and then her husband and the kids. Yeah, the dinner. Like you can tell that they do love each other, and they and you don't want to break up the family traditions and everything that they did growing up in this beautiful mansion. But I did believe them all as a family.
Oh, absolutely.
For a movie.
Was this the movie? See, I told Marisa before we went on air, I was like, I'm worried that I'm going to accidentally get them confused because by this point in the year, we've already watched like 15 and they're blurring together.
Yeah.
But was this the movie where she stopped them and she said, I hate to break it to you, but you kind of are acting like a normal family? I think this was this movie.
Yes.
Because I whatever movie that was, forgive me if it wasn't this movie, but I liked it simply because I think most of us feel like there's, and I think about this going home for Thanksgiving with all my cousins. Most of us look at Instagram or whatever, people's photos online, and we think they must be having the ideal. They don't have the uncle that drinks too much and spouts off horrible things. Whatever. They think that every other family is having the perfect holiday, and we're fighting. We have dirty dishes. We have whatever. She was like, guys, normal families are like this. Like, stop discrediting yourselves. You are a very normal family.
No matter if you're millionaires, but like they still have the same family dynamics as everybody else. Yeah. I really like them too, and that's the thing. I was like, they were very wealthy, as you can tell. Sure. With their upbringing and whatnot, but they were good people. That's what I applaud.
I also will say, in terms of realism, it did annoy me that she kept commenting on it because I was like, I'd seen again when it's on sometime because the ending was so beautiful to me.
Okay. I love the blue dress that she was wearing during the dance. That was pretty. All right. Fun things about this film. It was filmed in Vancouver. $13 million mansion in Langley,
Wow.
British Columbia. I was just in Langley, like literally a month ago.
And that's
from
not
today.
13 million in LA house. That's 13 million in Vancouver.
Canada. And other places were downtown Abbotsford, Montrose Avenue, and Fort Langley. And it was written by Nina Wyndham and based on the novel by Jenny Hale, and directed by Mel Damsky, who's did Moonlight in Vermont and Journey Back to Christmas and Love on a Limb. And this movie was filmed back in August, so a few months ago. But it's filmed in Langley. All right, moving on to Christmas Homecoming, the more serious version. Not to be confused with Coming Home for Christmas, but Julie Benz and Michael Shanks. What were your thoughts of this one?
So, I will admit, I do not have family members in the military. I have a friend whose fiance is deployed right now, so she would probably very much relate and be sobbing through this movie. I feel so bad. She's spending Christmas alone. Not alone, but, without her fiance.
Right.
But this was not one, like, with the whole military storyline that I necessarily resonated with a lot, but I definitely saw on social media a lot of people did. I do like, from time to time, changing it up and having a more serious movie. This definitely, I wrote down, this is very distinct movies and mysteries. You could tell it was made for movies and mysteries. And it's good to have those serious ones. The military movies are not my personal favorite, but again, it's just my background and I don't relate to it as much as many families. Many people, it very connected, I can't talk today. It very much connected with a lot of people.
I really like this one. I think Julie Benz and Michael Shanks, they're both great actors in and of themselves. I really like the storyline. I thought it was very relatable. Trying to save a heritage museum and like doing whatever they can to keep it together and putting on this fundraiser. And and I also love how they brought the military and into it, and like the meaning of family, especially around Christmas time. And it's sad when you do lose a loved one, and how sad holidays can be when your loved ones aren't there. And I think that hits home to a lot of people. And I thought they touched upon it like beautifully in this film.
I did write down so many things that I just liked, or like, for example, the quote, "The magic of Christmas can heal a broken heart or a wounded spirit."
I agree. I thought it was beautiful. I really, there were points in this movie where I can completely call out that I was like, oh, he's fixing up the motorcycle, and then during the auction, I was like, of course he's gonna buy it. It makes sense. But I really believe that like these two broken souls could like come together during a time where they're lonely and where you kind of just need someone to connect with. And I believe that relationship where they were put together in the same situation and they just kind of like gravitated towards each other.
And you know what? I do think, not to get too out there, whatever, but I do think it's good to have movies that make space for people who have grief at this time of year. Because the truth is, sometimes your life is hard or Christmas is hard for various reasons, you know what I mean? And there are people for whom this isn't just a happy, easy, let's watch romantic comedies time. I did think, obviously some very sober, serious moments in this movie, but that's a part of Christmas for a lot of people.
It was. I thought it was just great. And then the whole conflict of should he leave and re-enlist and go back into the military and ultimately leave her. And that's I think a lot of what a lot of people go through, and they toy with that idea. And I thought they showed him like really have that internal struggle, and I thought it was very believable.
And again, so many people have had to make those decisions or been in that position with deployment before. I just kept writing down quotes with this movie for some reason. I loved when they were talking about she's confused and she didn't want to be confused. And Jim said to her, well, if you're confused, that means you're searching. And if you're searching, you might discover something. I loved that perspective. I was like, good advice, Jim.
It was great.
Good advice.
I really believe their chemistry in this one. And I love that he used his retention money for the military to buy the bike, but give it back to the museum. You know, he just wanted to really save the place for a good cause. And it's not about money. It's more about like keeping something that's close to you.
But speaking of money, this is the movie where I wrote down, because I had just watched Coming Home for Christmas,
Right.
where he tried to like not buy her with the trip to Athens, but where he tried to do the trip to Athens. And then I was watching this where Craig was planning on proposing, and then they're outbidding one another. And I was like, number one, boys, stop trying to win these girls with money.
Yep.
And number two, stop using proposals as things aren't going well. I think that she met somebody else, so let me propose. That'll save it.
That'll fix it. Yeah.
So I wrote that down. I was like, we need to stop. We need to stop trying to solve problems with proposals.
Well, in this case, it kind of, it worked at the end when
It did.
he left her, which was sad. But I'm glad it didn't end there because, of course, fade to black and then come back. A year later, he comes back, and I thought that was a beautiful return, especially for Christmas. And I thought that was also believable, too, because sometimes you do have to say goodbye to the ones you love.
And nice
they
to
do
not
come
wrap
back.
it up. I mean, kind of wrapped it up in a bow, but also like a believable happy ending of how it might work out, because he left.
Right. But he came back in such a great way, back on the motorcycle.
Yes.
Loved it.
And all of just to address all the serious comments in the chat, it's interesting. A couple of years ago, I did have a hard Christmas, and I watched movies and mysteries so much more because it was that serious tone. And, you guys are right. Many of us have been through something around the holiday season or a memory with it that does make it hard.
Right.
So I really like movies like this that kind of help people through that, not just over the top cheery all the time.
Right. And that's what I think was very relatable, because a lot of times we do spend holidays away from the ones that we loved. If like they're away across the country or across the world, or if they've unfortunately passed, I think that's very relatable to a lot of people, and I think they did a great job. Also, I think they handled death and warfare very well too, and how people handle it. And they asked a lot of the same questions what a lot of people would think, like what were they wearing that day, what were they doing before their death, what the last things that they were going through. You just kind of want to know where they were in their life when it happens, and I think they just covered everything so beautifully in this film.
It was powerful. I mean,
It was.
also to have a funeral in a Christmas movie and pull it off and not depress you is a hard thing to pull off.
Yeah.
So very, very well done.
I loved this one. I'm keeping this
DVR'd
one.
it?
Yeah, I'm keeping this one on my DVR for a good long time. This was filmed in August.
Okay.
And also in Langley. And
Another August in Langley.
Yep, another August in Langley at the British Columbia Farm Museum and King Street. So Vancouver has it, and in Canada definitely has it. All right, and moving on to A Gift to Remember that aired on Hallmark Channel.
Can I do a quick comment pause?
Sure.
A Bride for Christmas is airing in Canada, and Jordan has not seen A Bride for Christmas.
What?
Jordan, it is
All
a
right,
classic.
have fun.
You are in for two of my all-time favorites, Jordan. I just had to address that because we both love A Bride for Christmas.
We do.
And
We
there's
do.
a fear of commitment line. That's the thing to listen for in that movie. There's a fear of commitment line that makes me melt.
Yes. Oh, if you were only with us when we were talking about that film.
Oh, A Bride for Christmas.
Be
Jordan, you are
nerded
in
out.
for a treat. Jordan, so much love is flooding your life this
Yes.
week with these movies.
Have fun.
Okay,
All right.
back to A Gift to
A Gift
Remember.
to Remember, starring Peter Port and Allie Liebert, also from Chesapeake Shores.
Yes.
What were your thoughts of this one?
Okay, I think I might have liked this one more than you did. I loved A Gift to Remember.
I liked this one.
Oh, I loved it though. I loved the amnesia storyline. I loved the figuring things out, piecing it together as we went along. I loved the dynamic between the two. This is like on my DVR for sure. I liked it.
I enjoyed this one. It was cute. I mean, when you throw in a dog, of course, you already have me. So, sold. I did like the movie, the doggy in the... There's a doggy in the window, and that doggy has a person. I was like, yes. I love the friend. The friend was probably one of my favorite people in the characters in this movie. And then a second line of hers was, "Oh, Bailey, I'm so sorry Darcy broke your person."
Well,
I laughed so hard.
So what did you think about this whole, she went on a bad date and her criteria of a bad date was he couldn't quote Dickens? I was like, that's a very specific criteria.
Okay. Yeah. I had a hard issue with that too because I've read Dickens and Dickens is boring.
First of all, Dickens is hard to read.
He's great, but he's boring.
Beyond that, I also feel like I've had to learn you can want someone that's like interesting or educated or whatever these things are,
right.
But you don't need someone to like, you don't need to date someone who likes the exact same author as you or it's not a match. I thought that was a little bit like Darcy.
I've read 2 Dickens books and he's very detailed, paint on the wall kind of drawing writing. And this is just me. But it doesn't mean I can't quote Dickens. Or like, it doesn't mean I can quote Dickens. But I've read him, but, but it also doesn't say like I'm not educated or
But
whatever.
she wanted a reader.
I think her standards were just like very not attainable, really.
Well, and I guess it's understandable. She works at a bookstore.
Yeah.
So it's understandable for
I used
her
to
to
work in a
want
library.
a reader.
Shoot.
You know what I thought was interesting about this whole movie, though, is this idea of she kept denying the chemistry and the feelings she clearly felt because in her head, her ideal person was not someone well-traveled. And what's funny is, come to find out, he's not this well-traveled businessman that she thought he was. But I'm like, even if he was, you clearly had a connection with this person. And I found it so funny that because of these picky little details, the whole movie, she tried to deny it to herself and say, he can't be right for me because of these things.
Because when she was trying to figure out who this guy was, like, she liked the fact that he was a PR agent and had connections to literature and authors and stuff. So like she liked all those aspects, but then when she found out that he wasn't exactly all those things, she was okay with it. So it makes me think, like, what
Joyce
exactly
does
are
bring
her
up,
standards?
she did have a block of like letting her feelings, and letting her guard down because she believed that he had a fiance. That's true.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I think a lot of people made this reference too, but I texted it to you before I realized other people were making the same references. This felt very While You Were Sleeping, which is a great film. If you guys haven't seen that film, go watch it. Bill Pullman, Sandra Bullock, Peter Gallagher, you're welcome. And it takes place in Chicago, so I'm a little biased there as well. Great film. It has that same dynamic of like trying to figure out who this guy is and like learning about him and like through his family and through the people that he knows. It has that same dynamic. I enjoyed this film. I thought it was cute. It took me a minute to separate Allie Liebert from Georgia.
Sure.
Because she was so dislikable as Georgia in Chesapeake Shores that I'm like, ooh, okay, but you're really nice in this movie. So I was like, all right, got it. Switch.
The switch.
You're
you could make the
person.
switch. I wrote down
Good
the quote.
actress that she allows you to do that. So.
And it was good. I wrote down the quote from this movie: "Caring for others reveals the best version of ourselves." And I thought that is such a good quote for this time of year. Just a nice thought. I loved this movie.
Yeah, and I liked the friend of Aidan's when he said
his friend handled it really well. That people were in his house.
Well. Yeah, and especially he said like a really eye-opening line. It's like you're so lucky to have someone who would do that for a complete stranger. And like, yeah, you would do the same thing. So I was like, okay, because they are like that good, kind-hearted people that they would do that for other people. Yeah, I can believe them to be together.
And the line about when he thought he was meeting the mysterious fiance, and he thought, I just have to believe that when I meet her, I'll know. And then that came back at the very end of, oh, I did know. I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah. So this movie was filmed at Simpson Manor on Glover Road in Fort Langley. I was just on Glover Road a month ago in Langley. And filmed in August and September. So like August is a good month for Vancouver and Canada and Langley and all that area for filming all the Hallmark movies. And it was written by Dina Ryan, based on the book by Melissa Hill for this one, and directed by Kevin Fair, who's done like all the Signed, Sealed, Delivered movies and A Rose for Christmas. You've seen that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I already said my favorite quotes, but I did enjoy this one. And I love the dog.
Yes,
The dog
Bailey.
is cute.
Favorite
Love
animal
Bailey.
of the weekend.
If there's a dog, I'm sold. Already there. Done. All right, moving on to A Bramble House Christmas that aired on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, starring Marisa and David Hayden Jones. And Liam Hughes from
A lot of legends.
When Calls the Heart. He played Philip in When Calls the Heart. What did you think about the storyline of Willa inheriting $100,000 from Mr. Conrad?
Well, I did wonder if you would have to. This is a shady comment. I did wonder if Marisa would have to rewind the beginning, but I wrote down. I felt
pay
like
attention,
it was.
guys. I swear.
Well, I thought it was a captivating premise that drew me in so fast. Sometimes it takes time, and we're like 18 minutes in, and I still need to come back after the commercial break to find out where it's going.
Right.
This one, I mean, it drew you in, and I was captivated from the beginning. And overall,
We were both watching it at the same
time.
Literally the same
and
time.
I feel like people loved this one more than anything else. I saw people on social media, people in the chat today just have loved this movie.
Yeah, I thought this was great. So the story of Willa inheriting all this money, but then the brother and the sister come and like have an injunction against her.
What's
It's like,
funny is that
ooh.
the brother, Finn, initially seemed very aggressive and upset at the beginning, but then as you texted me, Molly ended up being the aggressive
Molly?
one.
What, Molly?
The unpleasant one,
What
really.
a horrible woman. But then she kind of had a moment where, like, I want to say they tried to redeem her, but what she did was so cold.
Right. I
that
don't
I
think
had a
they
hard time
redeemed it for me, but before
I had
the
a
end.
hard time. I'm like, no, but you're still that kind of person. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, the difference
Revealing
between Finn
everything.
and Molly is that as soon as Finn met Willa, you could tell that his heart was softening and he was already like questioning things, right?
Yes.
He was still skeptical. It didn't win him over immediately, but he immediately changed his demeanor because she was so disarming and nice. Molly was like a stone wall. You can't get anything past me.
And she was a woman on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
Molly was, but I did like Finn. He slowly let his guard down. He's like, as you said, he started more aggressive, but like he had a purpose. But then when he realized who she was and like the kind of nice person that Willa was, and her son, how nice he was bonding with the son, and I think. And because he's also like a children's illustrator, like it softened him. Like he has a soft side, obviously, and I really liked this slow progression of he was like okay with and like slowly learning about who this woman is and that she's not just after the money, that she actually had a good relationship with his father. And
Right.
she is genuine.
And can we just acknowledge one of the reasons I'm already calling it this is going to go down at least as a movies and mysteries classic. It probably will cross networks, but I think this is going to get aired a lot. But the reason one of the reasons I think that is there were so many side plots. We got to see Mabel, I believe was the character, develop and have her own arc the whole time.
Yeah.
In addition to, and this is going back to what I said earlier, I love
Mabel or Mabel? It was one of those.
I thought it was
Stupid.
Maple.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I loved the fact that Willa had this storyline of figuring out what was next for her. And I I really relate to this because so many of my clients are like, my kids are now older or things have changed in my life. So I'm not just a stay-at-home mom now and I have to figure out my own dreams. And we don't see that often in Hallmark movies. But she literally wrote, I have a chance to live the life that I dream of, but I don't know what my dreams are. I thought that was really rare and refreshing to see her be on that journey in a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, I really liked her because
Mabel, it was Mabel.
Yes, it was Mabel. She was one of those people that like she started off a little cold, but she slowly she was very humanistic. They gave her humanistic qualities that like she's so used to doing everything on her own because she just wants that controlling factor, which I understand in a lot of people. Admittedly, I am a bit of a little control freak as well. So like I understand that like you don't want let other people do work when you
Sure.
know if you do it like it'll be done properly. I get that. But that like she slowly revealed that like she needed help and she has a hard time asking people for that. I was like, yeah, that's true, that's realistic, that's believable. I got that too. I liked her, and she like, and I loved how Willa always kind of like challenged her and pushed her a little bit, like, you can let me do this for you, I can do this for you, you know. I did like that. She had an arc and I didn't expect it, but I liked her.
Yeah.
I really liked her.
All of the characters, other than Molly, eventually won you over.
Yeah, yeah. And even Finn, as aggressive as he started,
And he was getting annoying.
soft.
There was a moment where I was like, if I hear one more question, this is not covert at all. This is obvious. This is so, you know. So he was aggressive at the beginning.
He was, but I think like it was. I can believe where he came from because he was just frustrated that his father.
It was out of hurt. It was out of a place of genuine
his father
hurt.
spent more time with this stranger woman, and had a better relationship with her than he ever did with his own father and sister, and it came out of jealousy. But I get that. I like, it was very understandable, and realizing how genuine Willa is, like he warmed up to it and was like, okay, yeah, it's fine. I feel like how he just fell in love with her. I like that. That was great.
Yeah, and satisfying ending.
It was. So this movie was filmed in Vancouver, British Columbia, at Memorial Peace Park in Maple Ridge. Some other places, Golden Ears Cheese Crafters on 128th Avenue in Maple Ridge, and some private residences near Bonson Road. It's based on the book by C.J. Carmichael. I kind of actually really want to read the book now.
This one I feel like would be a great book. I agree.
Yeah. And this screenplay was written by Jamie Pacino, who, guess what other movies she wrote?
What movies?
We both love. The Bridge.
The Bridge! The Bridge!
Yeah, we both love
Iconic.
The Bridge. No, we should really talk about those films. Maybe we'll make a show out of it.
Do a special.
Directed by Stephen Monroe, who's also done, he just did A Harvest Wedding, Love at the Shore, and The Perfect Catch. And yeah, and a fun fact about this film, it was filmed in the same house that was used for Hallmark's All for Love. Look at
Which a lot of people were
that.
talking about the house.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the same film because Hallmark loves the same locations, you know, reusing them for more movies. So here's my Marisa movies suggestion, because we've dropped so many other movies, but
I know, suggestions all around.
if you loved Christmas Homecoming, you'll also love A Christmas Card, which you know, just watched.
Sure.
Military, Meet My Mom, and The Army Wives. There we go.
Good suggestion.
So what are people saying in the live chats?
People are saying, can we have a moment for R.I.P. Della Reese, which she was from Touched by an Angel, among other things. Beautiful soul.
Yes.
And we can absolutely say R.I.P. to
Rest
Della.
in peace, Della Reese. She's had an amazing career, and it's sad because it's holiday season, so it's always sad when icons and loved ones pass away around this time. But yes, moment for her. All right, so upcoming movies, we have Oh, we have so
The
many
5
movies.
night.
We
have
have the
reached the 5-night Thanksgiving movie
week,
marathon.
you guys. It's the week before, well, it's a few days before Thanksgiving, so happy early Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yes.
So we have a lot of movies to
And late
watch
Canada Thanksgiving.
during Thanksgiving. All right, starting with Love, Christmas, airing on Hallmark Channel. Starring Amelia Ullerup from Chesapeake Shores.
Super exciting
Our
for
whole
this.
Chesapeake Shores cast has like a Christmas movie this year. It's
I know.
great. It's great. That airs on Wednesday, November 22nd at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then the next day we have The Mistletoe Inn on Hallmark Channel, Thursday, November 23rd at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And
Love both of those lead
8 p.m.
actors.
I mean, Alicia Witt and David LP.
They
Love
picked
'em.
it for Thanksgiving for a reason.
Yeah.
That's your Thanksgiving movie right there.
Love it, love it. And then on Friday, we have Finding Santa, Jodie Sweetin. Hallmark Channel, November 24th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And so that's Friday. And then on Saturday is the big film. The next newest Hall of Fame movie, The Christmas Train, starring on both Hallmark Channels and Hallmark Channels Movie and Mysteries. It's both on both channels at the same time.
Oh, wow.
At 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. William Paisley. We have Danny Glover, John Cusack, Dermot Mulroney. I love the cast. I am so there.
That's
That-
iconic. It's
that's-
going to be a phenomenal
That's
movie.
going to be huge.
Good
based
Housekeeping
on,
is already saying the best one ever of Hallmark Home of Fame Christmas.
I'm excited. David Baldacci is an amazing author. Go read his books, you guys. So that's Saturday, November 25th. And then on Sunday, we have A Joyous Christmas. On November 26th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. That's Hallmark Movies and Mysteries Channel, starring Natalie Knepp, Michael Rady from Christmas Homestead, and Steve.
I love him. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I love him
Oh.
too. Steve Basic and Bonnie Bedelia, who is fantastic. I've interviewed her, you guys. She's amazing. She's an icon too. She's a living legend. A Joyous Christmas, Movies and Mysteries, November 26th, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. So a lot of films to discuss. And next week, we also have our good friend, writer, coming back, Julie Sherman Wolf, is going to be back on our show. And she's going to be talking all about Finding Santa this time. And I'm excited for that one. Jodie Sweetin hasn't had a Hallmark movie, so. And oh yeah, speaking of which, the Full House is now coming to Hallmark. I love it.
See, Marissa,
so
how many people
much.
could I discuss that Full House is now coming to Hallmark with? You already know, of course.
Yeah. Oh well, you have all of us now. So, all right. Anything else? Woo! We covered it. 7 movies today. 5 movies
And
next
for
week.
those of you who watch Lifetime, heads up, this is the week that Lifetime begins.
Oh yes.
So, in case you need more than 5, you also have Lifetime movies starting this week, and they've got 7 new
Yes.
ones this year. So,
Oh my
they're back.
goodness! And those, if you want to cry or want some mystery, there's also Lifetime movies too. Excellent. Well, everyone, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Let us know what you're doing. Send us pictures, send us your food, send us your Hallmark pictures if you're watching Hallmark movies on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving with your family. I'd love to see them. In the meantime, where can everyone follow you, Stefan?
Yes, Twitter and Instagram at Dr. Lovegrove. And I teased this 2 weeks ago. My annual Christmas playlist is
Yes.
here. I just tweeted it at Dr. Lovegrove right before we went on today for the show. But it's available on Apple Music. It's available on Spotify. I told Marissa, this is my joke. If you listen to it at Thanksgiving, your relatives will be 3,000% easier to deal with. So let it be a soundtrack for your memories. Tweet me if you're listening to it. And it's free, Apple Music and Spotify on my Twitter.
Love it, love it. And you can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV. You can follow all of us here, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those fun social media platforms at AfterBuzz TV. Keep rating, keep commenting, keep subscribing, keep watching Hallmark movies. We still have so many more
to go.
If you're all traveling for Thanksgiving, have safe travels and have a good Thanksgiving, everyone. We will see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.